You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stevencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Glad you could join me here again today. Looking forward to getting into more of our community's questions. People writing in from all over the world. We literally are working with people all over Europe, all over South America. We have people in India. We have people in the Middle East, all over Australia, in New Zealand, Canada, the United States, all over the islands as well. We're talking with people on a daily basis in Puerto Rico and in the Philippines. So always an exciting time to be able to chat with people and really listen to their questions, listen to their stories, and understand that there are people behind these symptoms. And it's something that we've really forgotten about in conventional-based medicine, that people are not their numbers, they're not their lab result, that it's an actual person with feelings and they're suffering from something that ails them that they would like to improve. I really believe we need to get back to that. Even, let's say in the late 1800s, we've got conventional medicine. Doctors were still making house calls. They were still speaking with people like real people. They were listening to their stories. That an appointment didn't have to be 15 minutes with your PCP where, 5 minutes of that was an intake and then 5 minutes was giving you a prescription and then 5 minutes was filling out their electronic medical records. So, that's not healthcare. That's simply palliating sick care. So, what I'm trying to do on the Cabral Concept and on the house calls is give you that first place to get started, to understand that you have been heard, that I do understand where you're coming from, and we want to help you get well. So we're going to give you that starting point. All right. So let's get started. Let's get right into our first question of the day. It's coming from Anton, and it was written on April 15th of this year. So we're still about the 12-week mark behind on our questions. This came in April. We've got May, June. Yeah, we're about 12 weeks behind, and that's what we've maintained. So, just assume that your question, if you do write in, will be answered somewhere in 10 to 12 weeks. And remember that if you want your question answered pretty much the same day or within 24 to 48 hours, you can write in at cabralsupportgroup.com. It's a free Facebook group, and you'll be able to get some amazing answers and support from our community all around the world and my health coaching team. Okay, question from Anton. Hi, Dr. Cabral. If you only knew how much you've affected my life in a positive way, you would be proud of yourself. I have listened to every episode of the Cabral Concept, and I'm an IHP L1 and L2 student of yours. Because I'm a client of your private concierge practice, I could access the Dosha breakdown. I have to say, I was a little bit surprised about my score. Not in a bad way. I just thought that my dominant body type or dosha was Vata, but it was Pitta. You have spoken about that body type and mind can differ. For example, you say your mindset is 99% Pitta, but Pitta is not your dominant quality in your physical body constitution. I don't know if this question makes sense, but do you have any tips or ideas how a person can find out their dosha mindset? I understand that self-awareness is a big one here, but I think this is really interesting, and I would love to hear your view on this type of question. Anton, thank you for writing in. And what I would like you to do is check out just this past Thursday's show on it was either called The Irony of Training for Your Body Type or The Problem with Training for Your Body Type, something like that. And it would have been episode 1238. Episode 1238 of the Cabral Concept. And I do have the answer for you. Keep in mind, this is a common question. And the reason is that your physical structure does not have to match your mind type, and that's simply because you develop a phenotype of a mind based on the family that you were born into, the culture, the society, where you're at in terms of your relationships, finances, stress, etc. I was a lot more anxious and overwhelmed when I was sick at 17 through 26 years old. and that would have been the Vata mindset. But I still had the Pitta in there, right? Because Pitta is my dominant mindset. I talk about that in depth, about the frame on episode 1238. So tune into episode 1238. And the reason is I give you in the show notes a link to all of my Ayurvedic shows to date. So I'd love you to check that out. Now, the shows you're looking for, though, I'm going to give you specifically, Anton. And they would be on episode 950. So you can just kind of rewind this, hit the 15-second back button. Episode 950. And that one on is Ayurvedic stress and how the body types each handles stress and their reactions. And then you'll also want to listen in on episode 972 about the emotions and how each constitution and mindset base experiences emotions very differently. Okay? So check that out. I would love for you to learn more about it in that way. And keep in mind that your mindset is what a lot of people base their dosha on. And it's correct in terms of a dosha mindset, but it's not what people are looking for. People are looking for a diet and exercise and lifestyle and sleep plan based on their dosha, which has to do with your physical constitution above all else. Okay? So I will one day go in depth on this. I will do probably a mini course. I'm calling them like workshops, and those will be coming out this fall. And then one day, of course, I would love to have my own book on this, but the Rain Barrel Effect is still my baby, and that is my book for a while. I don't think that I could write a book, at least right now. I have too much going on. I don't think I could write a book a year with just how things are going. Maybe my retirement, but that's a long ways away. All right, so hopefully that helps you, Anton, and you'll be able to get some answers right there. All right. And by the way, Anton, I just wanted to thank you for the kind words as well. I just want to say that it means a lot to me. I talked a lot about that in yesterday's show. So if you want to hear, in depth of how much and how appreciative I am of when people write in and the kind words they have. So check that out. That was episode 1240 of the Cabral Concept. Or Susan's up next. Hi, I wanted to know if you could recommend the Detox as a starting point for everyone, regardless of health issues they are dealing with. I was diagnosed several years ago with Lyme disease and Candida, and my major symptoms now are chronic fatigue, brain fog, and trouble staying asleep at night. I'm 54 years old and going through menopause. I could lose 5 pounds, but I don't want to lose more than that. If I should start with the detox, would you suggest the 7, 14, or 21 days? Thank you, Susan. All right, Susan, for someone who's dealing with a little bit more of a catabolic issue where, they might lose too much weight or they have brain fog or they're always tired, I still do recommend the 7-day detox because we have to lower total toxic load. And I would say do the whole detox, the 21-day, but I would not do the fasting days of days 8 through 21 because I give you 3 ways to do the detox. One is every week for the 21 days, which is the deepest level of detoxification and also weight loss if you want it, is days 1 and 2, days 8 and 9, and days 15 and 16, if I do my math correctly, are the 4 shake-a-day shake fast. Now, I give people the option to do that. Greatest, most in-depth available, right? Deep autophagy, etc. Deep fat burning. But for some people, I say you could do the 2 days the first week and then 1 day of shake fasting the next 2 weeks, and then you could just follow the days through 7 typical meal plan. Or you could do the first 2 days of shake fasting. And then after that, for the full 21 days, you would simply do the days 3 through 21 meal plan. And for someone like yourself, you could actually do a little bit of berries in your smoothie if you would like on your non-shake fasting days for breakfast. Kind of get right into that. Or you could do a little bit of sweet potato with lunch and dinner if you needed to, if you didn't want to lose any more weight. So the detox is not just for weight loss. It just works exceptionally well for weight loss. So as I'm recording this, I'm finishing up my summer 7-day detox. And so are well over 1,000 people inside of our community. So, it's amazing. It really is. We need to keep up with it. I didn't invent how functional medicine detoxification works. I believe that we have the most complete functional medicine detox, third-party tested, and also at the least expensive price. There's a lot out there, and they're charging $150 or $200. And I'm not saying that they're not great, but if we can get it to you for a 7-day or, even cheaper for the 21-day, why not do that? It was the one thing that I believed that if someone could do one thing, what's one thing they could do where they would feel immediate results after doing a 21-day? And that's the detox. So it's a great place for sure to start for almost everyone, not for pregnancy, not for children, definitely not under 16 years old, not for those people that are quite in a weakened state. A lot of the elderly may not be able to do the detox. not for people with liver disease. So there are contraindications for sure, but most people would be able to, of course, consult your doctor if you have any questions. That's that with that question. And just keep in mind with Lyme and Candida, I mean, in my opinion, run the organic acids test and stool test. Ideally, if you can do the big five, you'll do the big five. You will get your answer, Susan, for sure. All right, Mark's up next. Mark has a long question. We're going to read the majority of it. For the full question in depth, follow along. Head on right over to StephenCabral.com/1241, and you will find today's show notes and questions. All right. Mark's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've listened to hundreds of your podcasts, and I've learned so much from you. I appreciate the fact that you portion your time out in the endeavor of passing on the wealth of health knowledge you have gained over the decades to ensure people can be helped. I can't thank you enough. I would like to ask you a question about a health issue my wife is having. Some background, she's 71 years old, chronic back pain for 40 years. It's gotten worse. Opioids no longer provide more than a little bit of relief. She's getting some pain relief now from other medications, and she had neck fusion surgery in 2010, which required her to be hospitalized. At the end of the 2 weeks, she got a pulmonary embolism. 5% chance of surviving. She beat the odds. No history of blood clots. Bedridden for 2 weeks. She was put on blood thinners. And we assume they don't want the liability. She wants to see if she can discontinue the medication. Here's a question. I'm not going to ask you if she stopped taking Coumadin, which is a blood thinner for those people that don't know that. What I would like is to ask you if you've ever heard of this type of question come up in the past patient of yours, whether or not to stop taking a blood thinner. Okay, I know your question. Should she be on blood thinners or not? Okay. And you know that I can't give medical advice, all right? And you know that, and so we're good with that. Can't diagnose, can't treat, cure disease. At no point am I making those claims. That would be for conventional medicine only. However, some people in your wife's condition, again, I'm not saying to do this, but some people in your wife's condition use omega-3, okay? They use omega-3 fish oil, and they also use cayenne pepper. There are other things as well, but those are the two that I've seen work the best. Cayenne pepper and omega-3. And I would like you then to make the decision best, and you can take cayenne pepper capsules, by the way, and I would like you to make the decision that works best for you and your wife, but those are certainly blood thinners and anticoagulants from a natural perspective, not from a pharmaceutical perspective. All right, great question. Josh writes in, short, sweet, straight to the point. What is more beneficial for a holistic diet approach, blueberries or cranberries? Josh, simple answer. They're both fantastic. Every fruit or vegetable in the world provides different benefits, and I always ask for who and why. If I had a client come into me and say, I have your recurring urinary tract infections, well, the first thing I would say is, let's run an organic acids test and a stool test to see if you have E. coli overgrowth, Candida overgrowth, SIBO, or other things that could be causing the urinary tract infections that are recurring. The next thing I would do is I would say, let's put some cranberries in your smoothie on a daily basis. Now, for me, on a daily basis, with cranberries being a little bit more bitter, a little bit more acidic, but again, I use that in air quotes, I use blueberries, wild blueberries. Why? They're higher in antioxidants. Do I not believe cranberries are great? No. And I'll sometimes throw in, on a whim, a handful of frozen cranberries right into my smoothie. And they're actually delicious. It makes it a little bit bitter, but that's not always a bad thing. It's nice to change the different flavors. So Josh, no clear-cut answer. They're both berries. They're both loaded with antioxidants, and they can do different things for the body, which is also why it's not a bad thing to switch things up. You know, I mean, I'm a creature of habit, and I keep my life super simple because my life is complicated. So my nutrition and my exercise and my bedtime and everything else has to be very simple. Like it really does. Because you can't live a super complicated life, like in terms of work. I mean, it's just based on my work, right? And then kids aren't, I don't know, newsflash, kids are not uncomplicated, right? So, you know, there's that. And so what I try to do is keep everything simple. But my smoothies do sometimes vary. I do throw extra and other things in there, and I'm not afraid to do that. I'll throw in some Swiss chard instead of spinach. I will, you know, sometimes make a different, like I'm going to give that in a new report. We're coming out with a chocolate smoothie guide. So I'm going to give you a bunch of my favorite chocolate ones. I'm on a chocolate. We're using the Pure Chocolate daily nutritional support kick right now. I'm doing a second shake a day on my workout days. and absolutely loving it, but it's like it's a dessert shake, and I can't wait to share that with you. So I'll share that with you on a Friday review coming up with our chocolate shake guide and the one that I'm doing right now. Pretty delicious. All right, Teresa is up next, or maybe Therese. Therese. It's Therese. Hi, I just finished the Candida and SIBO protocol. Feeling much better. Going forward, what supplements should I take to best support my digestive system? Thanks. Best, Therese. Therese, the absolute best thing you can do going forward is foundational protocol level 3. That's it. Very simple, very straightforward. It's what I do every day. And that provides you with the daily probiotic support. And hopefully you used 3 bottles, 3 months of the healthy gut support. So after you finish the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, we affectionately call our CBO protocol, you want to immediately do the daily probiotic support and the healthy gut support. That's written on the instructions, but it's at the end of 12 weeks. And so what you want to do, it's called our Heal and Seal. So head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com. Just type in Heal and Seal or type in Healthy Gut Support and just choose the Healthy Gut Support and then also choose Foundational Protocol Level 3. And it's exactly what we recommend. 2 capsules a day or 2 soft gels a day of the omega-3 support, daily digestive enzyme with meals, and then the daily probiotic support, 2 upon waking, 2 before bed, or 1 upon waking, 1 before bed. Just get 2 capsules a day. Daily nutritional support, well, that's all your multivitamin, your minerals, your antioxidants, your daily detox, and 15 grams of a hypoallergenic protein for about $2 a day. It's absolutely the best and most convenient all-in-one you can get, and you can do that for breakfast, so it makes it pretty cheap. And then if you want, which I do recommend, the daily fruit and vegetable blend, either the unflavored or the crisp apple, which people are loving, and that's to get 22 organic fruits and vegetable benefits, all in one right there, all organic. Great products. So that's what I do every single day. Again, it takes me a long time to formulate a product. You would not believe that maybe you would. I'm formulating products for March of 2020 right now. And I know that sounds insane since we are 9 months away or 10 months away from March 2020, but that is how long it takes to go through the scrutiny that we do. Because we produce products that are unheard of in the market, unless it's a functional medicine company. We are going through removing things that we don't want in there. We're using all vegetable-based capsules. We're trying to get completely vegan with all of our products except for like an omega-3 or a collagen. We are doing stringent third-party testing. We are making sure that all of our bottles are recycled plastic. I mean, we're just doing all of the things that a healthy person would want. But it takes a lot of time. A typical manufacturer does not do this. And it also costs us way more money, to be honest. It costs us twice as much, for the most part, sometimes 3 times or 5 times as much to make a nutritional supplement than another brand. And we see that all the time. Like, we're coming out in about 3 weeks, who knows, right? If we get our payment processor, but they say that we will. We have 2 new CBD products. The world will never have seen these before. We have a CBD gummy that actually is non-GMO and doesn't contain food dyes. I don't know of another one that doesn't have it. Is it going to be more expensive? Yes. But it's because it contains no artificial flavors and no food dyes. So, again, it's a no compromise for me. If I'm not going to give this to my kids or my wife or myself or my family, I'm not making the product. I'm not making the product unless I will put that in my mouth and give it to my kids. That's it. And then for our CBD soft gels, that's not as hard to work around, but we have worked with the manufacturer to develop a product that has never been done before in a new delivery system inside of a CBD soft gel that contains chlorophyll. Never been done before. And it is an insane product. Now, I have a lifetime supply, but what I want is to be able to get these products to you. But keep in mind, it's not easy. And I don't want to go on a tangent. I already have, so I'm going to step off my soapbox. I love what I do. I really do. I love what I do. But when I tell you that you really have to love what you do because there's a lot of stress involved with it, because I'm like, why won't anyone let us sell CBD? Other people can sell it. Why can't we? Like, that's a level of stress, right? Anyway, I'm going to step back on my soapbox and I'm going to off of my soapbox and I'm going to answer Nick's questions up next. Nick writes in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. You have become the foundation for my health and wellness, and I use you as a mentor to help make the right choices. I have 4 kids now, and we have decided that that's enough. So I was looking into vasectomy or natural options, and I listened to your podcast on 848 where it was touched on. What I've taken from that is that although the procedure is 95% safe, 1 in 2,000, there are small failure risks with the procedure. Still, you don't really want to be having operations if there's a natural way to do the same thing. You alluded to this in the podcast, but didn't actually say what they were. Just that any natural alternatives versus a physical operation would be better than having a vasectomy. I just hoped that he or you might be able to provide some info or a link to what the natural alternatives are. Regards, Nick. Nick, thank you for writing in and following up. I did do a podcast on a house call on vasectomies. I don't know if that was podcast number 848, maybe. I'm going to look that up real quick for you. But let's see here. Yes, you are correct. So vasectomy was on episode 848. Now, the reason why I didn't recommend it is because nature didn't intend it, right? Like, I don't think that we should just take out our gallbladder if we can save it. I don't think we should take out our appendix if we can save it. If we can't, then we can't, right? And so I'm not against that. They're about to rupture their appendix. It might have to be removed. So I never want to say that there aren't times and places. Now, vasectomy, obviously, I totally understand, where you're coming from. You have 4 children. You'd like to keep it there. So here's the thing. Yes, there's a small failure risk, but there's also some great doctors that can cut that down to probably even smaller, right? Because they've done 20,000, right, or more. Let me give you one great doctor. Okay, and that doctor's name is Dr. Tracy Galvin. He's in Florida. You can obviously just do a Google search for him. Feel free to mention my name if you would like. He's a friend of mine, a colleague, and he is just one of the best in the U.S. at doing vasectomies. So if you are interested, obviously you could probably fly over, but there's most likely a doctor in your local area that has done 10,000, 20,000 vasectomies if you choose to go that route. Now, the other thing that I want to say is that I don't know if I was alluding to there being a more natural method, because I don't know of a way to prevent conceiving. I mean, we have birth control for women. We have, and you could also use an IUD. Again, just see my previous calls on that, because it's not something that I necessarily recommend either, because you're actually changing the hormones in your body. And even with a copper IUD, then you're placing a metal or a copper in the body as well. I've talked about male and female condoms, so then there's always that possibility. 99+% effective if used correctly. And then also, I guess a natural method would be not having intercourse when your wife or partner is ovulating. So, there's different ways of trying not to get pregnant and not having a vasectomy, but it's personal choice. And so hopefully I answered the best of my ability, Nick. And I know that it's not a perfect answer, and that's because I don't think that there is one, right? So you can either opt for the surgery, and most times it is reversible. There may be other issues besides just the potential harm that could be done, causing erectile dysfunction, etc. But there's potential. Again, we don't know for sure, but it may lead to autoimmune-based diseases. We don't know, but it's something to look at. All right, Amanda's up next. Cabral team, I've really enjoyed listening to the podcast and hearing about the great work you all do. I'm 25 years old, female, and diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I've been taking prednisone and other medications after my diagnosis. I'm hoping to be pointed in the right direction. My most recent blood work shows elevated levels of bilirubin in my liver, and I'm concerned that my rain barrel is almost full. Thanks, Amanda. Okay, Amanda, let's go over your issues here. And we're looking at ulcerative colitis, also referred to as UC. Please check out my previous podcast on ulcerative colitis. So we work with people with Crohn's, IBS, IBD, ulcerative colitis, SIBO, Candida, H. pylori, parasites, you name it, we work on it with that 28 feet of digestive tract. In almost all cases, there are 4 issues. The 4 issues that you might have one or all 4. Hitting all 4 is the reverse lottery. That would be parasites, H. pylori, Candida, and bacterial overgrowth that we refer to as SIBO, which stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So, and that's because the small intestine is, for the most part, supposed to be more sterile. And it's not supposed to have any of the colon-based bacteria there. So those are the 4 types. We test those on an organic acids test, as well as a stool test. And we'll be renaming those so that they're more functionally named, meaning like the stool test is going to be called the I just saw our team naming them. It was going to be called the Complete Bacteria and Parasite Test, I believe, which does sum it up much better. But anyway, names don't matter. It's all semantics. So what we're looking for is, do you have any of those? What's causing the inflammation? And then, if it's not one of those four, but I'm sure it is, there can also be the stress factor. And a lot of people get a flare-up with Crohn's for sure, and a lot of times with UC, ulcerative colitis, with higher levels of stress. So we want to follow the whole de-stress protocol. Diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, supplement protocols designed for someone with UC, and then success mindset. And we do those, then you can get yourself well. So that's my recommendations. And just keep in mind that sometimes the medication you're on right now, which I didn't want to name because I don't want to disparage, can cause elevated liver counts as well. All right, Jay's up next. I mentioned his name, but we're a little over time, but I'm going to answer this question anyways. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a professional athlete, and I'm wondering what you think about taking essential amino acids like, I'm not going to give the product name, this amino acid for building muscle. Okay, so I've done many podcasts on taking amino acids. Branched chain amino acids is most likely what you're speaking about, BCAA. And I've talked about it before, that for the most part, unneeded unless you are really working on preserving muscle mass and exercise performance while fasted. And if that's the case, nothing wrong with taking your branched chain amino acids before a workout or during a workout or even after if you chose to preserve muscle mass. However, it's way down on the list. It's probably not my top, it's not my top 10 for preserving and building muscle. First and foremost, you're going to get all of your branched chain amino acids and all essential amino acids by getting enough protein in your diet. So branched chain amino acids can actually help a little bit more with energy and the mitochondria than it would be even just for preserving muscle mass. So many other great products that I would recommend first. Again, like I'd first be on the Daily Foundational Protocol Level 3. I would maximize getting the most out of your nutrition and whole food. And then I would look at additional products after that, such as L-glutamine, like our Healthy Gut Support, which is 5 grams of L-glutamine, plus a lot of other good stuff. I would look at balanced zinc. And then I would look at creatine. And again, I would look at, you're going to get the omega-3 in your Daily Foundational Protocol Level 3, but there's so much more I would look at to keep the body balanced and healthy in terms of overall inflammation and recovery than just branched chain amino acids. I don't have a problem with them, but I also don't like to go high doses on individual amino acids at the detriment of keeping it balanced, because it's all about balance and equilibrium. Hopefully that was helpful today. Thank you everyone for writing in. I appreciate you. I thank you. And as always, if this show is helpful, please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at Equa.Life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to Equa.Life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to Equa.Life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.